The organisation Undoing Tax Abuse, Outa, says it's outraged at a decision by the Tourism Minister, Patricia de Lille, to dissolve the board of SA Tourism. De Lille told the board this week she was dissolving it because it had held a meeting in an unprocedural manner. But her decision also came after the board had decided to suspend the SA Tourism CEO, Newzroom following findings about her conduct from the Auditor General. Wayne Duvenage is the head of Outa. Wayne, good afternoon to you. Why are you so angry at this decision? Why do you believe it's wrong for the minister to dissolve the board?
Well, Stephen, it's seldom that we do come across boards that are, populated with experts in industry, not, they're not politically aligned. And the SA Tourism Board is just that. It has good governance, good oversight, and it has a number of industry members on its board, and it is constituted properly, and it was correct in its decisions to take action against a CEO, and this is its role, that has been found wanting when it comes to financial management and following the rules and the laws of the country in procurement matters, which have been backed up by an Auditor General's report and an independent forensic report. And so it's very important that these boards are allowed to conduct themselves. And what we see, the minister is just going over their heads and protecting the errant CEO as opposed to listening to them, engaging with them meaningfully. I don't believe she's done that. And to just get to the bottom of what the real issue is. So, to hastily go down this road and remove this board is just, quite frankly, political overreach and political meddling in the affairs of the entity.
Okay, but I mean, from what the minister says, the board held a meeting in a way that it shouldn't have. And if the board can't hold a meeting properly, why should it stay?
Well, they will tell you, and this is what we've read and heard, that they didn't have a meeting. All they did was pass a round-robin decision that one person would be the spokesperson or the person that would engage with the media after the news got out that the CEO had been suspended. Now, obviously, media would engage with SA Tourism. Who do you engage with on the board? So they decided just through a round robin. It wasn't a meeting on a decision that had to be made. The decision had already been made to be the go-to person, really, and contact. So, the minister's finding excuses. And what our concern is, the substance of this issue is a CEO who's been acting out of line with her fiduciary duties. Why is the minister not tackling that issue? She doesn't have to disband this board. She could have engaged with them meaningfully to get to the bottom of the issue, but it seems there's another agenda here.
Do you believe the minister then is she trying to protect the CEO, Newzroom against whom these findings have been made? Is this about that?
Could be. It appears to be that way, unless there's clear indications of otherwise. That's what we have to speculate. So we'd like to know from the minister, why did she not meet formally and physically with the board and consult meaningfully with them about this decision? Secondly, she knew that the chairperson was resigning, Professor Davids. Why did she not immediately appoint an acting chair or a new chair from the existing board potentially? That is her role and her responsibility. So she's quite frankly remiss in her duties here to allow a board to have no chairperson, which then leaves it in this position of not being able to fulfill its duties. So she should have done her work and appointed a new chairperson. But because she didn't, she leaves them in this precarious situation. So quite frankly, she has got to answer to her own neglect of duty in this regard.
Okay, you believe the decision is wrong. I mean, if the minister reversed the decision, reinstates the board, the relationship between her and the board surely is broken. How do we sort of manage this from here? It seems to be quite complicated now.
Well, Stephen, you've got to mend those relationships. This is her board. She chose this board. She didn't inherit it from a previous minister. She put this board in place. They are a diverse board. They are representative of the tourism industry. They are leaders. They're a good board as far as we can see. We've looked at the various members. So yes, it does become a little bit difficult when you cross swords with your own board that you've appointed, but I think they need to sit down and have a good discussion and mend this. There are ways to facilitate this and fix it. That doesn't mean to say that she should let them go like this. They are dealing with turning around SA tourism, which has had its problems in the past, and we believe they're on track to make SA tourism fulfill its duties and its mandate to the country. So it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up at all.
When we haven't heard from the minister yet, and my experience of Patricia de Lille suggests that at some point we will. But just as a sort of structural question, we keep having issues around ministers and boards and CEOs. It seems to happen all the time. Now, you made the point this is a board the minister herself appointed. Now, look, I mean, you can appoint people and they don't do what you want them to do and things happen. But why do we keep having the same structural problem with bodies that are sort of part of government?
It is sad. I mean, we shouldn't have these problems. I think the Zondo report starts to ask this question as well, and wants the country to deal with this excessive power that ministers have over these boards. Maybe we need to put in new models, new laws that has civil society as oversight, another way of appointing and removing boards. Something needs to change, but one thing that shouldn't change or shouldn't be happening, quite frankly, is that ministers overreaching and entering into the operational fray of the organizations. That shouldn't be happening. The board is there for that purpose. And there are far too many problems. I mean, we've seen in the CETAs boards are put in place that are just powerless. They're toothless because they choose to be toothless and looking away from conduct that has happened as it has in SA tourism, and the executives are allowed to get away with gross maladministration, and they do nothing, which is not the case in this case with the SA Tourism Board. It is a very active and a board that is strong and doing its oversight role. So something has to change, but what is happening in this specific case, Stephen, is wrong.
Wayne Duvenage, thanks very much indeed, the head of Outa, the organisation undoing tax abuse. Do appreciate it.